What's going on, my spooky brothers and sisters? It's your boy Tech, and we back with another one of them bangers. So, shoot, let's get straight to it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Terror of Tech, and I hope all of y'all having a great day. Shoot, I know I am. You know what I'm saying? I get to record that good old spooky content for y'all. Peep the threads. You know what I'm saying? Got a little double M action going on here. You know what I'm saying? So you already know it's about to be a vibe. But just to get into the video, what we talking about today is the most anticipated horror movies of 2024. Now, to start, I want to go ahead and put up an honorable mention for this list, and that would absolutely be Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire. Now, I already know what y'all thinking. Godzilla isn't a horror movie. Is that But y'all not about to play with me and act like that doesn't have some horror elements in it. So it's qualifying for the category. And if you go look on HBO Max and go look at all your favorite streaming apps, guess where it is? Under the horror section, because that's exactly what it is. It's a creature feature just like every other horror movie, whether that be Tremors and all that other BS. So I ain't hearing that. No, Godzilla definitely belongs anyway. But no, Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire is something I'm definitely looking forward to. If anybody saw Godzilla versus Kong, you know that was a really good movie. I think Adam Wingard snapped on that, not even just from the visual effects, but just the general showdown. I thought it was a really good fourth installment into this new Godzilla MonsterVerse series of movies. So with this new movie, Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire, releasing March 29th. So, you know, that's something that I'll definitely be looking forward to, especially with me being as big of a Godzilla fan as I am. Which I don't know if y'all peeped the poster in the back, but that's that Terror of Mechagodzilla. Definitely a banger. So y'all, if y'all haven't seen that classic 1975, go ahead and check that out. Now for the real list of the movies. The very first movie that I'm anticipating the most this year is definitely Smile 2. Smile, when that dropped in 2022, that was a movie that definitely caught me off guard. If anybody knows me, they know that I absolutely love Smile. I love everything about Smile. Similar to my previous video talking about, you know, what makes a good horror movie. I think Smile nails all of those aspects. Plus, it gives you a little bit of a deeper meaning in terms of talking about the depression and, you know, dealing with trauma and how trauma follows you throughout your life. As much of a masterpiece as I think it was, I personally didn't necessarily think that they needed a sequel because, you know, a lot of times when your first movie is a banger, then all the studio wants to do is just, you know, strike while the iron is hot, you know, try to cash in on all the success that the previous movie had. So, you know, for me, considering as much as I love Smile, I'm hoping in Smile 2 they don't go too much of a direction where, you know, they take away from all the elements that made Smile so great to begin with. And I could say, like, you know, a similar thing that kind of happened to another movie was Sinister. Y'all also see that poster back there. But anyway, a similar thing happened to Sinister, where the very first movie, and it's one of my all-time favorites, definitely gonna drop that video one day for y'all too. It was fresh, it was new to the genre. Yeah, there were some, you know, traditional horror tropes that you were definitely familiar with. But overall, I felt like they really brought something fresh and new to the genre. You know, what happens in a lot of sequels is they start explaining too much of, you know, the character and, you know, why certain things are happening. They start adding different things to the lore, and, you know, it's something that is really hard to execute. That's why in the horror genre, there aren't a whole bunch of direct sequels that are close to how good the first one was, or even the same energy. Usually they do a change of tone in the second one, and then, you know, like in the third one, that's when they try to go back to the roots and, you know, homages to the beginning, this, that, and the other. But anyway, I say all that to say I just hope that with Smile 2 they do it right. Next up, we got Maxine. Now listen, to me, this new trilogy by Ty West, when you go back and you watch Pearl, which is the first of the trilogy, so it's Pearl, X, and then Maxine, which will be dropping later this year. I thought Pearl was a really good movie. Mia Goth becoming one of the more notable actors in the horror genre. She's really taking over right now. Her performance in Pearl was fantastic. Now, me personally, I wasn't really all that interested in X. I thought X was interesting, so definitely wasn't really all that interested in X, but Maxine is definitely something I'm looking forward to just based off of the strength of Mia Goth alone. Just to give a quick synopsis of Maxine. The story follows Maxine, who was the only survivor of the bloody incidents of X, as she continues her journey towards fame to be an actress in 1980s Los Angeles. So, yeah, similarly, if you've watched Pearl and you watched X, you see what Mia Goth's character is all about. With this movie coming out, it makes complete sense for why the plot is what it is. So, Maxine is definitely a movie that I'm looking forward to. Moving on to the next one, we got Nosferatu. Now, Nosferatu, a part of the reason why I'm interested in watching this is because I remember back in high school, I was taking this literature and film class. At one point had us watching horror movies. And one of the horror movies that we watched was Nosferatu, the original from 1922. By today's standards, is that just some great movie? Absolutely not. But one thing that always stuck with me is specifically how scary the Count looks. I always thought it was extremely creepy, especially in black and white with it basically being a silent film and everything. Just it always gave off a very creepy and eerie vibe. So I always thought that was pretty good, and just look forward to today's standards of technology and how this story is gonna play out. I know Bill Skarsgård is in the movie. We all know him from being Pennywise, and he was in Barbarian as well. So it's definitely going to be an interesting movie to see for sure. And then moving on to the next, we got Terrifier 3. Now, before y'all get on me, I haven't seen either one of the Terrifiers in full, so I don't want y'all trying to come at me sideways. But what I do know of the Terrifier series is it has some of the most creative and gory kills in all of horror. Art the Clown is definitely one of the better horror villains, especially in today's era. And just to give a quick synopsis on this one, Art the Clown is set to unleash chaos on the unsuspecting residents of Miles County as they peacefully drift off to sleep on Christmas Eve. Now, so I don't know. Based on that, sounds like it might be pretty good. Sounds like it's going to be very Christmas themed or holiday themed. And so I expect to see a lot of blood on some Christmas presents. And lastly, and I definitely saved this one for last, and it's not the case where they say we're saving the best for last, because that's not the case. Night Swim. Night Swim is a movie that already came out January 5th. I just had the pleasure or displeasure of watching it just yesterday, as a matter of fact. And ladies and gentlemen, I can confidently say this is definitely one of those January strikeouts. For anybody who doesn't know, typically when a horror movie gets released in January, it's likely because the studio didn't believe in it. And so January is typically like the lull period for horror. So traditionally, you're not going to find a good horror movie in the month of January. But, with me being a horror fan, I was excited for Night Swim. And I do want to give y'all a mini review on Night Swim. But before I do that, I got a PSA. Stop watching trailers. Leave all that trailer watching in 2023. Movie studios nowadays are so horrible when it comes to the way that they release their trailers. The trailers nowadays show every single bit of all the good action in a horror movie. The studios could do better when it comes to trailer. And if you watch this trailer, this movie definitely suffered. I felt Night Swim had a very interesting premise and concept. It's a Blumhouse production, and Blumhouse, I love them as a studio, but we all know that they're hit or miss sometimes, especially depending on whoever the director is. So just to give y'all a quick synopsis, a woman swimming in her pool at night is terrorized by an evil spirit. The story follows this family that moves into this house with a pool in the backyard, and essentially the pool, the water comes from one of the springs, that used to exist in that area before the house was built. The dad is a professional baseball player, and he got sick and was, very weak and had to walk around with a cane. So, he was in physical therapy trying to recover. So, and, his goal was to get back to playing baseball, at least at the level that he was before. And so as you watch this movie and you follow through, you come to see that the pool has certain abilities, and a lot of people that sort of get drawn to the pool, it's almost kind of like a wishing well to a degree, because a lot of things that you may wish, he was wishing to, be back at full strength, knocking the balls out of the park again. And so the pool does grant you a lot of those abilities. But as you find out later in the movie, it comes at the cost of having to sacrifice somebody, typically somebody that's a member in your family. That's what happened to the people who had the house before them. There was a little girl, and she was drowned by the pool, or whatever the supernatural entity was, because her mother was influenced by the entity in the pool to get her son to come back to health. So she sacrificed her daughter. Her son is back to full health and stronger, pretty much stronger than he's ever been. Said it had a very interesting premise, but it just did not follow through on a lot of aspects. The best part of the movie, and I mentioned this to my lady last night, for anybody who's seen it, the pool party scene was the best scene in the movie, and even then, probably 15 minutes of the movie. So just imagine that. And that actually leads me to introduce my rating system to y'all. So I have a 1 through 5 style rating, which shows how much I like the movie. The ratings are as follows. If you get a 5 out of 5, that lets you know you are a certified banger. Number 4, you were a good vibe. You were a good little vibe. You were a good movie. Like, I didn't just love you, but, you can definitely tell that I like the movie. 3 is mid. 3 is just, it's one of those middle of the road movies. You enjoyed yourself. It wasn't anything too crazy, and nothing really to write home about or even tell anybody about. 2 is have a couple shots. If a movie gets this rating, you're going to have to get right before you go into that movie theater. And the last rating, 1 is that shit trash. So for the rating of Night Swim, I could go ahead and tell y'all right now. Go ahead, go to the ABC store and get your favorite bottle of tequila, vodka, cognac, however you want to rock the whiskey, whatever you want. Go ahead and get it, because you're going to have a couple shots to watch this bad boy. But that's all I got for you. Thank you guys for watching. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. Let me know some of your most anticipated horror movies for this year. I have more content on the way. I want to continue to upload regularly for you guys. I appreciate you, spooky brothers and sisters, and I'll holla at y'all next time. Stay spooky.